Hi, everybody. How you doing today? It's Monday. It's President's Day here in the United States. Uh, I actually had the day off. I usually have Mondays off, but I'll say 9 out of 10 times I end up working them anyhow. So I hope you all had a good weekend. Hope you're over the Super Bowl. Yes, we're going to talk about that Hims and Hers ad because how could we not? It was really big. They spent about $8 million on that ad. Doesn't sound like a compound company that's about to go out of business. So I said that's a good thing. A lot of controversy was made by that commercial. A lot of people are talking about it. Even President Trump on Fox News today was talking about the price of drugs in this country versus other countries, and he actually called it the fat drug. But he was talking about GLP-1 medications and how he wants to see the prices go down, and that they're like $88 in England and over 1,000 here. That's a big difference. Um, don't want to sound political, but anybody that can help us, I'm all for it. And if at least it has everybody talking, the commercial, uh, pretty wild commercial. I don't know if you saw it, but I mean, it was part Animal Kingdom, part GLP-1 commercial. They never really mentioned a name. That's how they kind of got around not mentioning any side effects. So that's one thing. Now I know that Nova Nordisk took out newspaper ads saying how compound companies aren't regulated like they are, and they're the only FDA medication that makes the semaglutide, and the others aren't governed. And I know that Eli Lilly also took out a newspaper ad saying that they weren't safe. Also, Eli Lilly, their profits went down 10% following that ad, and Hims and Hers, I believe they went up like 40%. So that's pretty big. So that's why we're still talking about that Super Bowl commercial. And I've taken the compound for a year. I've lost weight. I haven't gotten sick. I know plenty of people that have taken the compounds. You just have to be careful and do your due diligence. Make sure that it's a legitimate compounding company, and compound companies get uh, inspected by the state and the FDA. Now, the medication itself isn't inspected by the FDA, but the state does step in and inspects. So that's a good thing. So make sure that you're using a reputable compound company, that you have a prescription, they require a prescription, that you had to talk to somebody, whether it be a nurse practitioner, a doctor, a physician assistant, or whatever, because that's very important too. And if they're going to say, "Oh, you don't even need a script for this," I'd run. That just doesn't sound right to me. And if something doesn't sound right, well, there probably is something wrong. Now, as far as the 501A and I'm sorry, 503A and 503B pharmacies, I'm having a video come out in the next week that's going to explain the differences, and you'll get an inside look at them and what they're all about, and their relationship with the medications. They've been making these medications since I believe it's 2022 when there was first shortage. And these compound companies have been around for a long, long time. I think they started in the 80s. Don't quote me on that. Might not be right, but they've been around for quite a while. And but whenever a company has a medication on the shortage list, they're allowed to make it and sell it. So that's where we are now. Now it looks like Novo Nordisk has asked to come off the shortage list. They say that they're no longer in shortage. We'll see how that goes, because as far as I know, even with Monjero, it's a lot better than it was, but you still have to sometimes give yourself a week or so for it to actually get in stock. And part of the reason is the refrigerators. I mean, they take up a lot of room, a lot of, different size doses. And these pharmacies just don't have that kind of refrigerator space. Now, I know that the CVS that I use, they had one big refrigerator and one little refrigerator, and now I believe they have two big ones and two small ones. And it's mainly because of the GLP-1, because remember, these aren't the only medications that have to be refrigerated, and it takes up space. And those refrigerators are very, very expensive. It's not like you could just go to Home Depot and buy a refrigerator and pop it in the drugstore. That's not how it works. They've got to be, certain kinds, meet certain regulations. And I can guarantee you there are probably somewhere around $90,000 to $100,000 for the refrigerator. And, we're paying for that, along, with, the all the people involved in the pharmacy and the manufacturing, stockholders. We're paying for all that. It doesn't come free. The people getting the authorizations, it's all tied in, but it doesn't have to be quite that expensive. Eli Lilly kind of admitted that around 73 cents of every dollar uh, goes above what it costs for them with the medication. You have to excuse me, I was just getting over a little bit of a coughing spell, so probably be drinking a bit of water. Apologize for that. So you have the refrigerator, it got to come on in refrigeration in the trucks, and a lot more to it than just your normal medication, coming to the pharmacies via mail or via UPS or FedEx or however they get them delivered. So again, more to it. So I also want to talk to you about some other videos that I have coming out. One of them is the fact that uh, your brain takes a while to catch up to your weight loss. Uh, don't want to come out and call it uh, some sort of health problem, because YouTube will limit who could watch that. But again, there's ups and downs, and the way your brain behaves uh, physically and in other ways. Uh, Again, I'm being pretty vague because I don't want to. Last time I put out a video on that, it said that people under 21 couldn't see it, and then the algorithm doesn't push it out. So I don't want to come out and say that word, but I think y'all know the word that I'm talking about. Another one is also going to be that, why is it that it's like 12% divorce rate higher on couples where somebody is using a GLP-1 medication? And I'm sure it has to do with, some of the self-esteem, and, you become a different person, and your partner might not like that other person, or you becoming another person might not have the same goals and the same ideas as the person that you were with when you were heavier. So there's a lot to it, not just let's take the drug and get skinny. There's a lot more to it than that. See, I also have um, my wife Carol and I. We did a video on taste testing different protein drinks, shakes, and what we thought of them. Again, I kind of like my protein shake like a smoothie, so I throw mine in the Vitamix, with just a little bit of almond milk, lots of ice, sometimes some Greek yogurt, and a powder, because I like it nice and thick, kind of like a milkshake type thing. And the protein shakes that you buy in the bottle, just don't cut it for that. So that's why I had her on, excuse me, so that she drinks those kind all the time. So I thought she would be a better judge. I was just basically going by taste because, like I said, the bottle ones, that's just not my jam. I'll be me, you be you, and that's just the way it's going to be. So, anybody have any topics that they want me to make videos on? You can put them in the comments. You can put them in any of the comments on any of my videos. I'll be more than happy to look at them and see if I can do a video on them, because we're all in this together, and I want to help everybody. We all should be wanting to help each other. And it's a team effort. This weight loss and keeping it off, it's a big thing, and support is super important. We all have to support each other, and we all should support each other. I mean, that's basically it's like we're a GLP-1 family. It's let's get together, only not the fattening dinners like families have, and hopefully not the fights either. But yeah, hey, what the heck? So, I also have a video coming out on restaurants, how to survive going out to dinner, and how to survive fast food restaurants. I know I've done pieces of that before, but it's kind of important. And you'll kind of see a pattern in the restaurants of grilled chicken, grilled salmon, grilled fish with a vegetable. If you're going to have a potato, have it plain, portion size. If you're going to go out for fast food, order a small hamburger. Don't necessarily need the bun. Again, not my thing really, fast food, because especially since I've been on the medication, I just have not had a taste for that. If I'm going to get a burger, I want a nice juicy burger, broiled, grilled. However, I don't care. And again, I don't need the bun. I'll have it on lettuce. And if I'm gonna have it on the bun, I'm just gonna have like half. It, you could get just as satisfied with half these days. It's like when I was on vacation with my wife, and, we decided to have dessert. We split one. Didn't really even need to finish it. Just as satisfying. As a matter of fact, I found it kind of sweet. It's like one of my big weaknesses is the chocolate covered peanut butter cups. And like I've been having the Atkins when I feel like it, or Quest makes one. And I really enjoy them, and they're really good. Now, on Halloween, we had some in our department, and it's like I took a bite of one, and I'm like, oh, that was like disgustingly sweet. I just couldn't believe it. It's like I actually preferred the one that wasn't as sweet. You know, who would have ever thought that? That's one of the great things about these medications. I was thinking of doing a video on, my start to finish, and, how long I was on medications, each dose and so forth. And I know I keep mentioning it in the lives, which is kind of why I haven't really done one. But like everybody else, I started off on the 2.5 for a month, and I lost quite a bit of weight. And like, had I, know what knew what I know now, I would have stayed on 2.5 a little bit longer. And I was on 5, and I was on 5 for a few months, and until I had a big stall and did really well and stuff like that. And they kept trying to jump me up, although I was with a telehealth company that charged every dose got a little bit more and more expensive. So of course they wanted me to keep jumping up, but and when I finally talked to the nurse practitioner, it's like, well, let's give it a try for a little bit longer. Try either reducing your calories or increasing your workout. Uh, Personally, I have a feeling that I just wasn't getting enough calories, and that my body was holding on to the fat, in like starvation mode, thinking, oh no, I better hang on to this. There's no carbs, there's no sugar, there's no nothing coming, not enough calories. So let's hang on to this fat. I really might need it. And so, that's one of the reasons why you don't lose weight in starvation mode. And that's also one of the reasons, for the first time ever, I actually recommended somebody to actually go out and have a normal meal because they were telling me they were on the stall and on the stall. Although I'm not a doctor, just from my experience with this medication, I was thinking that well, you're not having enough calories, so I'm like, go out to dinner. Just don't go crazy, don't order everything on the menu and dessert and that, just, go out, have a steak and potato and, if you're gonna have like bread, only have like a half a piece and leave it at that, maybe vegetable, but let your body know, hey, yeah, there's some calories. Yeah, now I can start letting go. That's basically how it is. And that's kind of the idea. Before I was on the medication, I was on a diet that actually was working fairly well. I just couldn't see it as a lifestyle, but it was called carb stacking, where you would go 3 days of having uh, a protein, uh, vegetables, and really good uh, carb. Like they would only let you have like quinoa, brown rice, or sweet potato, purple potato, which is a type of sweet potato, and that was it. As far as carbs. And again, if I have a potato, I usually split it half. I take half. My wife takes half because yeah, I like potatoes, but it's like enough. Especially when you're trying to lose weight. So you do that for like 3 days, and you have your meals. And with this, you had to work out 15 minutes every day, which wasn't a big deal. And they had different workouts, but that's something besides the carb stacking. And then you go for 2 to 3 days where you cut that carb. So your body's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do this. And all of a sudden, it doesn't get carb, and they're like, holy crap, what now? And then it doesn't know what to do. And then you put them back into the diet again, and then you're like, oh yeah, here they are. Okay, I could let go now. So you're kind of fooling your body a little bit, because you don't want to eat the same thing all the time. And I know I have a habit because I have my top 5 or 6 dishes and just kind of rotate them every morning. I usually have a protein shake. Well, you know, today I had cottage cheese. Just, again, not a big breakfast eater, but you have to shake things up a little bit because your body gets used to everything. So I sort of do that carb stacking now, but like I don't have the carb very often. I try to get my carbs naturally through the vegetables. And I'm a big food eater. I love to have my fruit at night, kind of like my dessert. That's my go-to thing. I treat myself. I don't go crazy. It's, you know, I have, some chunks of honeydew or cantaloupe or watermelon, or sometimes I'll have a mango cut up. Again, you have to shake it up, can't have the same thing. So, that's pretty much what my diet is. So, getting back on track to my doses. So, I was, on five for 3 to 4 months. I have it written down. I could actually look it up. And then I decided still wasn't losing. uh, So I went up to 7.5, where I was on for like another 3 months. I lost a little bit of weight and came to a stall. But, towards then, I kept changing my goal. First, I had a goal weight, I think it was like 140, 142, which is the lowest that I've been in a long time. Let's put it that way. But, it still was, still borderline obese. So, once I hit it, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna, I'm gonna lower it like 10 pounds, which, still put me in a little bit of an overweight, kind of on that border of overweight to normal weight. And so, I was on 10 for a while and until I hit the next stall, which didn't take too long. And I tried 12.5, and I didn't like it because I was literally forcing myself to eat and drink, and I'm like, "Nah, this can't be good. I don't wanna have to force myself." I could understand it, the first week, but, I think I would fight it for 2 weeks and, like, "This is crazy." And I lowered myself back down to 10, lost just a little bit more, and I was really close to my goal weight, and I figured, "Let me try going back down to 7.5." Again, shaking things up a little bit because you never know, what helps and what doesn't. And figured I'll see how 7.5 goes, and I could always up it back up to 10. And 7.5 was good. Still lost another pound or two, and I was like within a pound of my goal. And I'm like, okay, let me just take 1 week of 10, hit my goal, jump back down to 7.5 for like 2 weeks. Then I went down to 5, and then I'm like, "Oh, food noise is kinda, like, coming back," that's not really good, so I went back up to 7.5, which is where I am now, and I'm kinda considering, do I wanna try, like, maybe 6-ish, just do the math where, if 50 of it is 50 units is 10, and 75 units is 7.5, and if I go 60, it should be like 6. I'm thinking maybe I might try that, see how that does, because the lower I could go on maintenance, the better. And if that doesn't work, I'll just go back up to 7.5, and I'll start stretching it out for, maybe instead of 7 days, I'll try 8 or 9 days and then try to up it, because ideally, if I could get down to 5 every 10 days or even 5 every week, I'd be happy as could be. That's just me, and, if I can't, I'm good with taking the medication. I think it's gonna be available for us for a while. I think with these special doses and them adding the B vitamins to it, I think it's gonna be okay. Uh, that's just my gut feeling. I don't have a crystal ball, but yeah, there's just so much money involved with this stuff. These compound companies they're making millions and millions. Also, they don't want to give it up. I mean, look, you just had Hims and Hers spend $8 million on a Super Bowl ad. Goes to show you there's money in this. And said Eli Lilly is saying that 70 some cents of every dollar is, above what it costs to, make them, does make their shareholders, happy if they lowered it. So, it's a whole nother topic, but uh, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, they're going to either lower the prices, either with new medications coming out, or the government's going to step in. These compound companies are going to keep making it. You know, Either way, I think it's going to be available for us for a while. And I know that Medicare is now negotiating with Novo Nordisk and Ozempic, so who knows? They might come up with a good price on that. If they come up with a good price on that, then Eli Lilly might have to come down on their prices just to keep up with things. So see how that goes. And comments on here. There we go. And we'll see how that all goes. So we've talked about my doses. We've talked about what I eat. Love to hear what you eat. Again, thinking of making another what I eat in a day video. We'll see. I do have a video coming out on other countries and medications and what it costs in different countries, why it's so different, whether it's the socialized medicine or you know I don't even know. I have a feeling it's not legal. Like if you get it from Canada or from another country and have it sent over, plus you have that got to be cold thing. So you know anything that is lower you know might lose that in shipping cost, having to ship it cold and stuff like that. So, but I'm doing a video on that. Hopefully, I'll have that out in the next couple of weeks. Um, Lots of good videos coming out. Still doing some of my my cooking series. Kind of running out of recipes because I think I got like 10 or 12 up there, and I kind of rotate them. I was talking to a friend the other day, and she was basically saying, "Well, I can't afford to spend $22, although that's for two people, remember, for dinner." So I'm thinking of doing some on some less expensive recipes. The thing with that, like the one that I'm going to do in the near future, is actually a recipe that my mom came up. I don't know if she came up with that. You probably saw it in the newspaper, but it's pizza fish, and like you use any cheaper grade of fish like tilapia. I think tilapia is what I'll use, or orange roughy type thing. Any inexpensive, not a big tasting fish, and yeah, have it like pizza style. So yeah, you get two pieces of tilapia, fresh tilapia for like $7. So you can't get too much of cheaper of a meal than that. Again, the vegetables that I get are a little bit more money because I buy them. They're fresh, but in a bag that's microwave ready. And of course, I'm paying a little bit for that convenience. But like I said, when I come home late, I want my meals in somewhere around 10 minutes. I have made some that are a little bit longer. Like I have one coming out on a pork chop. You have to cook pork all the way, that. So that one did take 15 minutes. Eh, Still close enough though for me. 15 minutes, 16 minutes for dinner is, to me, is still a pretty good time saver. It's when you have to spend hours and hours that in the prep time and the cook time that I can't do, especially getting home from work as late as I do. Plus, I don't like to eat that heavy late at night because I don't get home till like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. And by the time I say hi to my cat, my wife, not necessarily in that order, honey, if you're listening, um, and get everything ready, and then start dinner, and then cook dinner. It's already like 7:15, and I have to be at work by 5 o'clock in the morning. So it doesn't give a lot of time. So to me, time is the problem. So I don't know how many more of the cooking series I'm going to have. I'll always come up with some new dishes now and then, but like I said, I've gone through most of my regulars, and they're on my site, so you could always review them. Eat a lot of fish. I was thinking of maybe doing a filet mignon, but again, that doesn't go with that less expensive part that I was doing. And the filet mignon is pretty easy. Grill pan, broil it, whatever, and season. Flip it. But that's cooking. So cooking series that's being done. Um, Trying to think what else. I do want to start an interview series, and I have two people that have committed to doing the interviews. Just actually being able to get a time that they can do it with me. That's a little bit harder of a problem, but we're working on it. And speaking of interviews, downsized with Christopher and Lorraine Durham. I'm going to be doing an interview with them. I'm going to be their guest interviewee, whatever you want to call it. We're doing that late next month, and I'm sure they're a little bit behind in putting them out. So that'll probably be out like end of March, April, that area. So looking forward to that. There's some really good, smart, good people. Very down. I don't really personally know them, but they from all of the GLP-1 sites that I visit. I do visit a lot. They seem like they're the most down to earth people that you could have. And as a matter of fact, like when I first started, like I messaged Christopher, and he was giving me some pointers and checking out my site, and, telling telling me about my views and stuff. He suggested I come on their show to be an interview so that they could plug it, and they have plugged me on their live. So thank you, you guys. You guys are the best. All of you GLP-1 creators are good, but like I said, just they're my favorite. What can I say? They just seem so down to earth. Uh, And ironically, they're going to be in my neck of the woods. What day is it? At the end of the week, because they're going on a cruise. Don't have plans to meet them or anything because one, I'm working, and I'm not going on the cruise. And again, it's Fort Lauderdale, and where I live, it's a good hour and a half. So it's not like it's right next to me, but it's not too bad. So I have one coming up to, like I said, on fast foods and dinners. I'm thinking of doing one of while you're on vacation, little things that you should do. Uh, I know when I went on vacation, I didn't really watch what I eat, but my portions were definitely smaller. And my breakfasts were, again, I don't really eat breakfast. I still have my protein shake in the morning. Our lunches were pretty good. Yes, we went out to dinner almost every night. We did have a lot of fish, and yes, I had some baked potatoes and some carbs that I normally wouldn't have, and even some bread. But we didn't really have too much in the way of dessert, and we were gone for almost 2 weeks. And like one of our biggest treats when we're on vacation is ice cream. And I think we each bought a gallon of ice cream in 2 weeks. Yeah, it lasted us, like especially with this medication, couple bites, 3 or 4 bites, and that's satisfying enough. That's good, And again, just knowing that, and I did work out every single day. Now I know that you can't outwork a bad diet, but when you're only going to be bad for I was really only bad maybe 4 or 5 of those days. Exercising helps. And plus, I always feel good when I exercise. So that was another thing with that. So I think that might be an interesting type of video because again, it's a lot easier to move around. You want to see things, you want to do things when you're on vacation. It's not like you're just going someplace to sit and watch TV for a week or so. So you're out touring the places. You're going to shopping. You're moving. So that all helps. Me, I like to work out when I'm on vacation because to me, one, it normalizes me. I know it's just me time. I have my headphones on. I'm jamming to some good workout music. Not a care in the world. It's just me and my thoughts. To me, that's my me time, and I love my me time. So I do that when I'm on vacation. I try to do that, every time that I'm off, just so that I know that I have some me time. Because, like, today was a little bit crazy. I had to get up really early because I had to take my car in for its first checkup. Passed flying colors. It better with only 4,000 miles on it, but then from there, then I went over to do my hot works routine. And it was a little late. I only did it twice. So then I went over to my regular gym. And yeah, I did kind of shorten my workout a little bit because I still had a lot to do. And I had to come home because we were doing our protein shake video, and I didn't want to get too late because my wife had to work today. So, did that, and then I actually did 2 other videos. One of them is on some of the gadgets that I have for supposedly helping with losing fat, but does it? You'll have to watch the video, so I won't spoil it by telling you the answers to that. And then I did another video on why is it that these medications have such a bad stigma with people, all that kind of stuff. So uh, have another video, like I said, that I'm working on that hopefully I could do it tomorrow or the next day. Um, Again, don't want to actually call it blank health because I don't want YouTube to put a age restriction on it because then it doesn't go through the algorithm and you just don't get any views. Um, but when I was done with my script, I gave it to my wife and she goes, "Wow, this is really good. I never realized, that I thought I was the only one having, thoughts like this." And, feelings like this. And this is really good. I think this is really important. You should make that one next. Well, once I do the scripts, I have to practice them for a few times before I could actually, do the videos and stuff like that. And like, I just finished that script yesterday. The other one I finished a few days ago, so I wasn't quite ready. Hopefully, I'll be ready tomorrow. I don't know. But anyhow, so after that, I did my videos, and then I still had to do my grocery shopping. Excuse me, and stop at a couple stores. I tried to pick up my wife's Monjero. Finally, it was ready at CVS, and there was a line of like 20 people. And I'm like, and then once you know it, like the registers went down. They're like, "Oh, don't worry, we just have to reboot. It'll just take like 15 minutes or so." And then I'm like, "Yeah." And then there's like 20 people in line, so I'll just go back tomorrow or next day, whatever. And we don't take our shot to Saturday. Worst case scenario, I'll just give her one of my shots, but I'm sure one of us will pick it up by then. So, then I came back and decided, okay, I'm going to do this live. So I had to kind of get ready for that. So, yeah, it's been a busy day. So, mm, something I probably need a vacation. I see one coming up in the future. Uh, see my cat's coming to visit me. I can quite get her on here. Can we get her on here? Kitty? Yep, I'm in bed because I'm kind of tired. So there we go. We can see her tail in the background. Hi, tail. Hi, kitty. So that's Haley the cat. She's got her own Facebook page. She's got 42,000 followers. Yay, Haley. Haley, they could make another debut. So had to get cat food too. But of course, I had to get my little baby Haley. So hopefully I'm off tomorrow too. So we'll see, what I can get done. Hopefully I can get that video done. Have a doctor's appointment in the afternoon. Most of the day is mine, so get a good workout in, get some me time. Don't have any vacations planned. I know we always go away in May, so hopefully we could do something before then. And again, I think it might be a good, fun idea to work on a video on vacations, because you don't want to beat yourself up, if you're not going to be that good or anything like that, because say you gain a couple of pounds, you're going to lose it pretty quickly anyhow. Which brings me back to the original topic of my doses and stuff like that. So, and changing my goals. So I finally got to the goal of where I was just between that overweight and normal weight. And I want to be into normal weight now. So I dropped it like another 8 or 9 pounds so that I had a little bit of play with. If I gained 2 or 3 pounds, I still wouldn't be overweight. And that's where I am now. Now I know several people have changed their goals because this medication makes it really doable. But always got me, and I've tried every diet known to man. Atkins. Can't tell you how many times I was on Weight Watchers and lost it and gained it. It was Nutrisystem and Jenny Craig. Personally, I like Nutrisystem a little bit better than the Jenny Craig, but hey, I don't even know if either of those are in business. And I've tried, like I've done Factor and stuff like that. Factor is really good. They're not super low in calories. So, I mean, they do have keto versions, but they're still like 500-600 calories for a dinner with, uh, not bad, but, if you're trying to follow a 1,200 calorie a day diet, that's almost half your calories right there. Anyhow, like I've done quick weight loss, and like for me, that was biggest scam because like you had a half a protein for breakfast, a half a protein for lunch, and a protein for dinner. and you had to have 3 of their snacks supplements a day, plus you had to take their vitamins and their appetite suppression things, which cost a fortune. Like, they had one that was like a powdered pudding, protein pudding, and they had protein pretzels. And quite honestly, I didn't really want to snack that much. I just wanted to have my normal, food. And if I have a snack, make it a healthy one, which is kind of what I do now. And my fruit for dessert, and their fruit was very, very limited. And it's like, if you weren't losing enough weight for them, you had to go 2 days on just eating nothing but two egg whites for breakfast, two egg whites for dinner, uh, like a small piece, a 4 ounce piece of tuna at night, and their supplements. And that was it. It was like, you're punishing me if I'm on a stall. And, it just didn't sit right with me. Plus, it's like, they told us we were going to lose our weight in like 8 months. And, lo and behold, 8 months came, and they're like, okay, we have to extend it. Not going to charge you for extending it, but yes, you have to pay for all these new supplements for all this time that you're on it. And we ended up having to extend it for like another 4 or 5 months. And they're like, well, now your time's up. Nothing we could do anymore. I'm like, oh, what kind of thing is that? Like, no maintenance, no nothing. And then, like, after they said, nope, nothing else we can do. See ya. Manager called. Oh, well, we didn't mean no maintenance. I'm like, well, that's kind of like what you said. So, and shortly after that, they went out of business. So, uh, I guess they have some sort of online thing to buy these supplements. But again, I try not to do too much snacking. And if I do snacking, like, I like the low-fat cottage cheese with pineapple, or just cottage cheese. I'll have, the uh, organic guacamole. Or, I prefer a good snack. Once in a while, we have had the protein pretzels, and the packages that we buy. They're like, it could last me 2 or 3 servings, and I feel kind of guilty when I open them up, because you have a third of it. Like, okay, well, I'm kind of obligated to have it tomorrow and maybe the next day, or they're going to be stale. You don't want to waste it. So that's one reason that they just don't really have small packets. Maybe they do. I just haven't seen them. Anybody has seen them, please, comment me, email me, let me know, because once in a while, I do like something like that. Because, like I said, this is now a lifestyle, and it's all about choices. So if I'm gonna have a pretzel, it might as well be a protein pretzel. Fills you up faster, a little bit healthier for you. That's the thing with uh, these medications. It's a total lifestyle change, and you have to eat differently, especially if you want to keep it off. You know, you can't go back to your old habits. Whether you're me, I'm okay with taking a maintenance. So that I eat. Some people have gone off of it, and if you stay really active and are really mindful of what you eat, you could do it. Statistically, it's a little bit against you, but obviously, since nothing else ever worked, I do have a GLP-1 deficiency. So, you know, I'll admit that, what the heck. Uh, guess it's nothing to be ashamed of. Obesity is a disease. Yes, into something. So, I have the disease of obesity. People don't look at you like, oh, you have diabetes, or you have high blood pressure, and you're going to take Medicare, or thyroid problems, you're going to take medication the rest of your life. That's okay. But with the disease of obesity, you know, all of a sudden it's not okay to take it for the rest of your life. So we'll see if government changes that. Hopefully Medicare will negotiate. Hopefully, now that Kennedy is confirmed as HSS, he's softening his view a little bit on the GLP-1 medications. He does believe in healthier diets, and I agree. I mean, it's like, you can't go a corner without seeing one or two Taco Bells or McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's, and like right down the street from me, there's, let's see, one, two, three. There's like six of them in a 2 block radius. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Maybe a few less drive-throughs. It's too bad they don't, have too much healthy foods. Uh, there is a place by me called Just Salads that has really good salads, and they do have, the low-fat dressings and calorie and all the nutrients are right on the menu. The fat content, all of that. You'd be surprised, like if you go to Chili's or you go to Applebee's and their salads, calorie wise and fat wise, you might as well have a burger and fries. It's like they kind of pretend that the salad's healthy, but every place Just Salads, and I'm sure every place might not be called Just Salad, but I'm sure every place has a salad place that has healthy salads. And there are ways to get around it. One good option is Japanese or even Chinese, where you could get protein and vegetable. Even something at a Chinese restaurant like shrimp and lobster sauce. Yes, it has a lot of sodium, but it's relatively low calorie, lower fat, because it's shrimp, vegetables, or beef with broccoli. And you can tell them easy on the gravy. And again, it does have a lot of sodium, but if you drink a lot of water over the next day or two after that, you'll be back to normal. And it is a healthier choice. One thing, Japanese food, because even the hibachi type stuff, because it's protein and vegetables. Again, not a bad choice. Even sushi, especially if you get brown rice sushi, I believe like a California roll is like between 350 and 400 calories. If that's what you're having for dinner, it's not too bad for going out. Again, you can't not go out and not be social because this is a way of life, and you don't want to, have some sort of, problem, 'cause, never going out and not wanting to leave the house. I could understand it at first, but like I said, this is a way of life, and we need to socialize with our friends. And one of the big things with that is that I'll kind of go out to dinner. Uh, Used to be movies and popcorn, but there haven't been too good movies lately. I don't know how the movie industry is doing, but I don't think it's doing anywhere near what it used to be. But that's a whole nother subject, whole nother topic, and whole nother thing. So we talked about doses, talked about what I eat, talked about what you should eat, talked about going on vacation, um, uh, talked about the stigma, and one of the things with the stigma, which I mentioned in my videos, uh, actually I have two of them coming out on that. You have all these celebrities that are taking it, and, they're just there to lose 4 or 5 pounds to fit into that bikini a little bit better. They're not your typical type of, you know, GLP-1 customer. They're not obese. They're not even really overweight. They just want to look a little bit better in a bathing suit, and that's part of the reason why it's got such a bad stigma. And there's people like Rosie O'Donnell that have lost a lot of weight, and Rosie says that she would be a spokesperson and they wouldn't even have to pay her. I find that hard to believe, but you know she's just so for this medication. I kind of believe it. Rosie does do things like that. Whoopi Goldberg, she lost a ton of weight. She admits that she's on the medication, and she was a little bit heavy, and she's looking pretty good now. So it is helping. So I don't think people like that have really given it a bad stigma. I think it's like I said, the people that just want to lose 5, 6 extra pounds to look a little bit better in their bikini, or just, I would just want to lose 5 or 6. I don't really need to, but I should lose 5 or 6 pounds fit into my wedding dress and look a little bit sexier. Those are the people that kind of give it, a bad stigma. So again, we'll be talking about that in my videos. Uh, Talked about how the divorce rate is higher. We talked about how Congress might have to get involved with lowering the prices. They actually seem to be a little bit more open than uh, what they used to be. We'll see. Like I said, this isn't a political channel. I'm not saying one party or the other is better. Big thing is that people are now talking about it, and that's the biggest point about this. People talking, because they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. What you think is bad publicity is still publicity. It gets people talking. So that's another thing with it. Uh, 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 I guess a good problem that people have been having, because I've talked to one of my friends about that, is that you have to kind of get rid of all of your clothes and buy all new clothes. I've had to do that like twice now losing weight. Is that a bad thing? No, because I'm getting skinnier. Is it an expensive thing? Yeah, yeah. It's something you have to think about. It's part of the planning. All part of it. Uh, Fortunately for me, like my wife is a little bit behind me, and that's probably two reasons, because she is a diabetic, and type 2 diabetics tend to lose weight a little bit slower on these medications, but she's still losing. She still lost 30 pounds. I think she's got another like 10, 15 to go. But since I'm a little bit ahead of her and we're about the same height, kind of I'm able to hand down some of my clothes to her. We're in the process of cleaning out our closet. We've done some already, gotten rid of our really big clothes. Now we're getting rid of the second batch of ones that we could still kind of wear, but they're still a little bit big. Yeah, I want to get rid of those. But make room for the new clothes, because closet space is kind of like the pharmacy's refrigerator space. It's a little tight sometimes. So uh, that's what we're in the process of doing now. And hopefully we'll get that done in the next couple of weeks, because I'm trying to work a little bit less, because I didn't realize how much work some of these videos and time they were going to take. You guys are worth it. Don't worry. Uh, I enjoy doing it. Uh, just like I said, time is my, if they had 28 hours in a day, I'd be really happy. I wouldn't have half the problems that I have now, but nothing I could do about that. Can only work on things that we could fix. Why bother worrying about things that we can't fix and we can't control? That's the way I look at stalls, is like I can control what I eat, control what I put in my body, control my exercise, can't control if I don't lose after that. So all I can do is work on what I'm putting in, what I'm exercising, what I'm putting out, uh, little tips and tricks that people have said, like, changing up what you eat, uh, not necessarily calorie wise, although you may want to add 100 or 200 calories, or make it 1 or 200 calories less. And we're not talking big changes, just, enough so that your body isn't used to the same thing all the time, because that could be a problem. Uh, and like I said, for the and actually, while I was on that quick weight loss, like when we were on that big stall, they actually suggested that we go out to eat, kind of order somewhat normal, not dessert. Don't order, something like super sweet or something like that. But just go out, have an okay meal. Don't have dessert. Because again, when your body's in starvation mode or gets used to something, it needs to change. Whether it could be 500 calories more, and then you go back the next day, and you'd be surprised how just a little change like that can make such a big difference, and you could get over a stall. Uh, Other things on a stall, I don't know what dose everybody's on, but sometimes that's when you increase your dose if that doesn't work. could always go back down. And then, like I said, one of the good things with the compound is right now I'm on 7.5. I thought 5 was too low. I could adjust it a little. I could only draw up like 6 milligrams instead of the 7.5 or 5. You can't do that with the pens, and it can be a little tricky to get the medication out of the pens and, split it up and things like that. It's, and you got to be really careful because things have to be super clean, or you don't want to get an infection. Uh, just had a video come out lately that's doing pretty good on side effects. Uh, Again, be aware of the side effects. Very few people get the serious ones, but just keep a mental note about them. Yes, nausea and vomiting can happen. Nausea, I have my water with my element. I have an element in here. Yes, we have an elements, electrolytes, salt base. For me, couple, sips of that one. It tastes really good, so it gets me drinking more water. And I have a little nausea, a couple sips, it tends to go away. To me, it's a lifesaver. I, I, I'm so happy I found it. We've tried some other salt based ones. My wife likes some of them. I kind of gravitate right back to the element. Uh, I like it. What did I say? It's like the gold standard, and I'm trying other ones. Well, why not just have the gold standard? That's the way I look at it. It's not like the others are a lot cheaper or anything like that. And these aren't expensive. They come out to like, I don't know, maybe a buck each, which you know, in the realm of things it isn't too bad because I only have like 2 of them a day. Rest of the time I drink water, some tea or iced tea or something like that. Nothing wrong with regular water, but your body needs the electrolytes. You lose a lot of electrolytes, especially when you work out. And one of the reasons why I like to go to hot works is, they say you burn so much more calories, and some people say, oh, well, that's just because you're sweating it all out, and then you drink, get it back. But when I work out, I tend to not sweat. I may perspire just a little bit, but I really don't sweat. So when I do it in the sauna and I sweat, I wipe it off. I'm getting rid of toxins. That's got to be a good thing. Even if when I, start drinking, the water, the kind of equals itself back out. I'm getting my workout in and I'm sweating, and sweating isn't a bad thing. Again, you get the toxins out. And, while I'm doing their little routines, they're giving you some pep talks and, trying to motivate you and stuff like that. So, that's good. But like when I'm at the gym, my headphones are on, I'm jamming to my music. It's just me, I have my little routines. Um, Couple months ago, I decided, like I've never really done a chin up. A little bit older, so I don't really, want to be like these teenagers and their 20-year-olds, that just jump up there. I use the machine, and I like machines because machines, especially for getting a little bit older, they're made so that you don't hurt yourself. Because that's the last thing I want to do is hurt myself. I actually broke my foot, stress fracture, probably from doing a lot of stair climbing, but different story. But when you're on the weight machines, you could do your weightlifting and stuff like that. And, they put you in a position and so that you tend to not get hurt, and nobody wants to get hurt. You know, I come back a little sore, but that's a good sore. So, like I said, you don't want to get hurt when you go to the gym. Again, so like when I'm at a stall or like that. Sometimes I'll add on to my workout. And again, I change up my workout because again, your body gets used to the same thing. If you're doing the same workout all the time, you know, muscle memory, your muscles remember it, and they get a little bit lazy because they remember it. So you gotta change things up a bit. Just like in life, you don't want to do the same thing every day. You get bored. You gotta change things up. No different when dieting, no different. Shouldn't call it dieting. I should call it lifestyle change while losing weight. You know, same thing, in a lot of things in life, gotta change things up. So, what other videos do I have coming up? Um, Muscle loss, I have one on, is it real and what to do about it? Obviously, working out is the best thing. Eating proteins is a more extra proteins is a good thing. Uh, One coming up on some gadgets that I just filmed today. I actually have a new camera coming that I'll be filming my videos on. Hopefully, that'll make up some better videos. Heck, we'll see. Uh, and I want to get into the interviews. I think it's going to help me a lot being interviewed because, like, I have my questions already for when I interview people. I've never been interviewed before, so I'll get that perspective on it. Never had that perspective on it before. Uh, my friend that I've known since middle '80s, uh, she's been on Ozempic for a year. Again, has lost a lot of weight, type 2 diabetes, is no longer even taking her metformin. I'm going to interview her, get her perspective on difference between diabetics. And like she was on the absolute lowest dose because she wanted to do it slowly. Um, Still does have some, uh, skin, extra skin, stuff like that. But, when you lose a lot of weight, you're going to have that. So it'll be interesting to get a type 2 diabetic person's view on that. And like, again, I can relate to a lot of things with her because like we basically have the same type of job. So, you know, our, the amount of steps we do at work are about the same and things like that. So, in that respect, it's going to be a little bit different. I'm always surprised at how many people at my work are on the medication. I said there's probably in our company in Southeast Florida, probably like 22, 23 people in CT, and there's like 8 of them that I know that are taking medication. There may be more, they just, don't admit it, but to me, that's kind of that's a third, a little more than a third. That's a lot. Although, they say 70% of Americans are either overweight or obese, so again, we know it's saving lives. Another video I have also coming out is other uses. So far it's been approved for the diabetes, for the weight loss. It's been approved for sleep apnea. It's a, about to be approved or in the final process of being approved for heart disease, saying it's really good for kidney problems and preserving your kidneys, especially if you're prone to them. Although they do say that people do tend to get a lot of kidney stones on that, but that's only because they're dehydrated. And when you're forcing yourself to eat, you forget to drink. And, water, 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 water. I say that in a lot of my videos. I say that in a lot of my lives. Water, 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 water. That you have no idea how important it is, especially living in South Florida, where even if you're not on medication, just the normal person, there's just so many people just because it's always warm here that are dehydrated. Again, I put IVs in most of my patients. You'd be surprised how many of them are dehydrated. It's just not healthy. I think if people drank more water, they'd be a lot healthier. Plus the fact that having the water in your stomach, you feel fuller. You're not going to eat as much. It's going to help with your your gut problems or bowel because water helps this things go through you a little bit easier. They help with your kidney function. They help with your liver. They help your bile. They just help keep things moving. So along with that, they say that it has an anti-inflammatory type of effect. People tend to not get as sick as much, like as far as the flu, things like that. Say it's good for blood clots in the lungs. Say it's good for addicts. They're doing a lot of studies with alcohol, gambling, and even amphetamines. So, it's kind of like the Swiss Army knife of medications. Just keep finding more and more good things. Uh, Good for brain health. 12% of people, it helps prevent dementia. Now, as far as I know, this is the only medication that actually helps prevent dementia and Alzheimer's. They're doing studies on it with Parkinson's. It's like there's just so much good stuff about this medication every time you turn around, and the more and more that it gets approved for, the easier it's going to be for insurance. Though we all know the insurance companies aren't known for their generosity and their quickness in lowering prices. I mean, look at insulin. Insulin used to be cheap, then it was expensive, then they're making it cheap. Now they're talking about raising it again. I mean, but come on, give us people a break. It's like we're paying enough for eggs, let alone. I mean, look at McDonald's. Burger, fries, and drink at McDonald's used to be $5. Then it was, so it was first it was a buck, then it was $5. Now it's closer to $10. Then they had the dollar menu. Then they got rid of the dollar menu. They should get rid of a lot of the fast food, period. But Americans and their addiction to sugar, fast food, and over processed food, it's undeniably a problem. Uh, it's going to be, hopefully, things could change. Whether it's takes the Senate, whether it takes people, or I don't know what it's going to take to change it, but it's got to change. Uh, Again, don't want to be a political thing, but something's got to change. I don't care what party changes it. I don't care. There's got to be changes. So that's what's coming out in my videos. Again, if any of you have any topics, please let me know. I check all my comments. You can put it in the community tab on YouTube. I think my email available on my YouTube site, Facebook. Uh, all the links are there. Plenty of ways to reach me. I always want to help you guys. I'm doing this for you guys. Uh, like I say, even stations that or channels that are monetized, they're doing it more for you because in this kind of niche, you're not going to make a lot of money. So, it's kind of fun to do, and we're doing it for you guys because that's what's important. And let's see, so talked about the protein drink tasting. I was thinking about doing bars, but I'm not real big on bars, so I have like one or two that I like, and then so I just wouldn't be fair on that. Even my wife, like, she has one or two that she likes. She's very picky on them, so we wouldn't like very many of them because we don't do bars that often. So uh, again, gonna try to get a couple in my cooking series on some less expensive dinners, like the one that I'm gonna make in the next week or so. I think between the fish, the pizza sauce, and the cheese for two, I think I'm spending like $8 or $9. And then the price of the vegetable, like I said, I buy the bagged vegetables just for the convenience, but you could buy a fresh vegetable that's on sale and cut it up yourself and put it in a microwave steamer. I do a lot of the fresh vegetables in the steamer. They only take like 4 minutes, and I think the water starts boiling in like a minute and a half, so it just steams for the other 2.5 minutes. And if it's something that needs to be in a little bit longer, when it's done after the 4 minutes, you just let it sit in the microwave another minute because it doesn't cool down that quickly. So, don't know what else you guys want, but like I said, uh, tricks or tips, or did one once before on that. Uh, that my biggest tips and tricks is the electrolytes, and again, more of that is water. I've tried things like cryotherapy. Yes, it felt great. Not that literally 3 minutes that you're in minus 222, but uh, when it came out, you felt great. Huge anti-inflammatory, and we know that uh, that helps with weight loss, that helps with arthritis, this stops cancer. I mean, a lot of things. It is very expensive though. Uh, so, that's with that hack. I've tried pool sculpting. Again, I like it. When they do it, it takes a few weeks before you can even notice anything. And then by then, is it because you're losing weight, you're exercising? 'Cause I'm doing it all. But there's a way I can help this along. I'm going to try to do that. So, as long as I can afford to, and as long as I'm working, be a different thing when I'm on a fixed income. And, of course, all that's going to stop. And I'm working a lot of overtime. So that's kind of, helping with that. They have some like skin tightening things, the thing that they attach to your stomach and like send, I don't know exactly how it works, but supposedly you do it for like 15 minutes, and it's like the equivalent of 500 sit-ups. Like that. That gets me back to got sidetracked on my challenge in December of chin-ups. So like I did a couple of them on the machine, and I actually got up to about 25 of them. So I was kind of proud of that. Sometimes you just got to challenge yourself, and make the exercise a little bit fun, just, with the challenges. Sometimes going out with a workout partner will motivate you. I know when I go to Hotworks, usually I'm in the room by myself, which everybody kind of likes that. But when I'm in with another person, sometimes it motivates me even more because I see how they're keeping up. I'm like, oh, I better keep up with her. It's kind of like playing tennis. They say if you play tennis with somebody who's better than you, it's going to bring up your game. That's the way I kind of look at it, and unless there's some, and I've had some people that in the same room that, are breaking the rules or talking on their phone so you can't hear the instructions, that's a different story. But in general, I try to use these people to help motivate myself and to make myself better. And I think everybody should. That's, part of life. And, you know, we all need each other, whether we want to admit that or not. So, well, that's my sermon for the day, and that's my live for the day. Uh, are there any updates on just that, Eli Lilly and Nova Nordis are really upset about that Hims and Her ad, and taking out ads on the newspapers saying how bad the compounds are, and not regulated, and they're the only ones that make regulations. Uh, I personally know a lot of people that are taking the compound. I think of the 8 people, only 2 are taking regular. My wife happens to take the Monjaro brand name because she's diabetic, and it's actually cheaper to get it on her insurance because she is diabetic than it would be to get the compound. But she has used the compound uh, due to the shortage. She wasn't going to give up her shot. So we got her some, and I figured, okay, what she doesn't use, I'll use. I do have some extra, uh, part because, I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Now they have the multi-dose vials. So, I keep a little bit extra, and, why not? I'm not panic buying yet. Some people might say I am, but I'm not. Yes, I have like 6 months worth, but I just got it. So, uh, we'll see what happens. And, if compound companies look like they're coming to an end, uh, they stock up a little bit more. Right now, as of current, the final date for them to be making it is March 18th, but they did, courts did say that they aren't going to do any enforcing until the injunction is settled between compound companies and the FDA. Who knows when that's going to be? Whichever one is later, that's what they're going to do. Also heard rumors that they're going to allow them to ship out as long as the bud date is still good. And some of the bud dates are good for like a year. And I'm sure if that came down to that, they'll start extending those bud dates. I hear it's a very stable medication, so even if it's a little bit past the bud date, they say it just might not be quite as effective. Personally, I've used stuff after expiration dates as long as I know that it's a stable medication and it's not going bad. At work, we have excuse me, some Excedrin that's probably a year past its expiration date. So it's only 96% effective or something. Everybody still takes it and it still works. We don't give it to patients, but us employees, we use it. Again, I'm not going to say that I've never used anything past its expiration date because I have. Uh, and it's not that it's not going to be safe. It just may not be as effective. And as long as those are the terms, I'll continue to. What can I say? I think most people would. I said so. If it's 98% effective, okay, I can live with that. So that's my live for today. I hope you all have a good day. Uh, Hopefully you had the day off. It is President's Day and get mail. If you work for any government, you had the day off. Uh, if not, sorry you had to work. Hopefully you had a good day at work. I actually took my Monday is my normal day off. I actually took it off today, so I can work on some videos and do some things around the house. That I have to do. We're getting a new roof. We have to make sure everything's out of the attic. Take it over to storage, things like that. So, all right. Have a good night. And it was great talking with you all. And again, let me know if there's anything you want me to do a video on. I had one of my subs suggest that I do one on insurance coverages, and I did, and it just came out, I think, this week. They thanked me. More than happy to do what I can to help you guys because that's what I'm here for. Have a good night.